When I think of niching down, there are a few phrases that tend to come to mind. We can't all be margaritas and tacos. We can't make everyone happy. Or if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. These two phrases really pinpoint and show why it's important to niche down your podcast. But it's going to be different for everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about whether you should niche down your podcast and how to know exactly how to do that for your industry. Hello and welcome to another episode of Successful Podcasting Unlocked. I am so happy you're here. I'm Alicia Galati, the founder of Galati Media, a full-service podcast management agency where we help business owners launch and maintain lead-generating podcasts. Niching down or niching down, for the sake of this podcast episode, we're going to say niching, but that is what I'm talking about. What it is taking a broad topic or a broad audience and whittling away at the people that you either don't want to serve or are not your ideal listeners, meaning they're not going to get the kind of value from your content that you really want your listeners to get. Does that mean that you are only going to be attracting those types of people? No. What it means is that is where your focus is. So for me, when I speak, I'm not speaking to every podcaster under the sun. I am speaking specifically to podcasters who are also business owners. They want to use their podcast to generate leads. They want to use their podcast to grow their business or to create content for their business, and they're struggling. Those are my listeners. Those are the people that I think about every time that I get on the mic, every time I get in front of a camera to share about what it is that you need to be doing to have a better podcast. If I was talking to the hobby podcasters, my approach would be completely different. My topics might be different. Yes, some of these things are transferable. There might be hobby podcasters listening right now who are thinking, but Alicia, you're giving me so much value. First of all, that's awesome. That makes me happy. But if I'm speaking to all podcasters, I can't speak to certain pain points because the hobby podcaster, the person who's doing it for fun, to come up with something with a friend, their strategies are going to be very different. Their efforts are going to be different. Their goals are going to be different than those who are business owners who also have a podcast. So, does niching down mean you're going to be talking to fewer people? Yes. It does, but they're going to be the right people. I have a client that was recently sharing about how she has a friend who speaks to a similar audience who recently hit 1 million downloads. And she was feeling very frustrated. She was feeling like, how did this person get that many downloads? They talk to my ideal listener. I've been on their show before. How come all of those downloads and all of those listeners didn't come to me? The thing is, she speaks about this topic from a different lens, meaning it's going to be a smaller subset of that big group that are interested in her approach. It doesn't mean that those other people won't get value from her content. What it means is that she is actually going to be doing them a disservice if she speaks to everyone. Because at that point, she's just that other podcast. She's talking just like that other podcaster. And why would they want to choose her podcast over the other one if they're speaking about the same thing? Someone might find her podcast and think, this is in a lens and this is in a point of view that I understand. I don't understand that other one, but I understand this one. That is the beauty of niching down. We also had a client, they're no longer podcasting because they've since moved on into different ventures, which is totally cool. And they were able to completely fill out their group programs with a very niche topic. And that topic was females who are trying to grow a WordPress design business. So not only is it females in tech, which is already a small group, it's specifically WordPress developers, but not all WordPress developers, WordPress developers who are looking to do this as a business. So not only are they female and WordPress developers, they're also having a business. So what this allowed these podcasters to do is they spoke so directly to those pain points that when people got on calls with them, they knew they wanted to work with them. They knew that right away that this group program was for them. It was easy to sell these programs. It was easy to get the listeners to go and buy their thing. That is the power in niching down. Now, what if they had been talking to all mom business owners or all female business owners? That was not going to get them the same results. Yes, they could still have had a pretty decent following. They could have grown their show decently, but they would have had to do it a lot longer to get those results. That is the power of niching down. It can change your podcast. It can change your business. While you might find that the smaller audience is a downfall, I want you to consider this. Would you rather have, and I want you to answer this to yourself, would you rather have 1 million followers who don't want to buy from you, or would you rather have 100 followers who want to buy everything that you have, who are telling all their friends about how incredible you are? When you look at those two things and you think about that, 1 million followers who never buy from you, but maybe they engage with your content, or they like the way you dance, or they like your clothes, or do you want 100 people who are raving fans? So while it might seem like it's a disadvantage to have a smaller audience, it's actually not. It allows you to speak directly to them and serve them. Serve the people who are here to listen to you, who are excited to hear what you have to say. That can make a difference. You might also think, okay, I niche down, but then I run out of stuff to talk about, right? What do I do then? I don't know. That's okay. Most of the time, if you are working with clients, you will not run out of things to talk about. That client who is talking specifically to a group of people, subset of that bigger group, she's at over 200 episodes, and her episodes are short and to the point, and she has talked about these topics over and over and over again from different point of views, giving different examples, sharing life stories, sharing about things that have actually made a difference in her life and have made a difference in her clients' lives. So if you are working with people and you are constantly looking at your life for stories, you will not run out of content, I promise. But don't let that tie you into having a podcast longer than maybe you should. If you have a very niche audience and you've found that you've talked about all the things that you want to talk about that your audience needs to hear, then it might be worth creating it as a limited series or saying, these are the episodes, I'll come in and give new episodes as new things happen. But this allows you to have that backlog of consistent content that people can go back to, and you have something to share. So I've seen people do this with a limited series specifically, where maybe their audience is smaller or the topics that they want to talk about, they want to bookend them. They want to have a starting and they want to have an end. And so a limited series allows you to do this really beautifully with anywhere from 12 to 25 episodes. Usually that's what a limited series is going to be. Anything within that, and you're able to touch on all of the pain points or touch on all of the topics that you want to talk about on your show. But it gives you an end date. And it allows your audience to have this expectation that when it's over, it's over. But it also gives you 12 to 25 weeks worth of content that you can then go back to the beginning. All right, I just talked about episode 25. Let's go back to episode 1, because that content is relevant to your audience and you can keep honing in on it. You can keep talking about it. You can spin it with new stories. So if you do feel like, I don't think I can talk about this topic forever, then don't. It's okay. There are no rules to podcasting. You get to decide what works best for you. There are 2 ways that we can support you with this topic specifically. If you would like to have a strategy session where we can talk through how to niche your podcast down even further, to talk specifically to your ideal client, book a strategy session. Or if you are looking to launch a limited series for your business, we also offer that as well. You can go to galatimedia.com, and in the menu, you'll see ways that we can work with you. And then if you have your own podcasting questions, please go to Successful Podcasting Unlocked. I would love to answer your questions on future episodes. You can also find me on Instagram or LinkedIn to send your questions there as well, Alicia Galati. Until next time, happy podcasting.